G'day everyone, welcome to part 14 of the Xray xb4 Buggy build series. In part 14 we will be gluing the tyres. Now this is a bit of a lengthy process. Well, not exactly lengthy, but considering that there are 4 tyres to glue, I have gone ahead and I have, well, basically glued 3, but I have left one of the 3 here as part of this filming process, just to help with time in filming. So things that we will need for tyre gluing: obviously we need our rim, our tyre and foam insert. Also we will need our glue. Some other things that will come in handy are some cotton tips, and that's purely for just getting rid of any excess glue. Now in case you're wondering, these aren't paddle extensions for the tyres, these are glue bands, as you can see from this tyre here. Now the whole idea of glue bands are to hold the tyre bead onto the rim. So basically, as you can see in this photo here, it gets the tyre and squashes it down onto the rim to help with the gluing process. Some other things you will need too is a little bit of methylated spirits. Now the reason for methylated spirits is when you get tyres, generally what some companies do is they'll get the tyre in a packet, but they'll put it in it's kind of like they coat it in like a chalky residue. Now that chalky residue will not help with the gluing process, so what you need to do is to clean the tyre. Now you can use acetone. Acetone is good as well as methylated spirits. But remember with acetone that it is basically it's like an acid, it eats things away. So I recommend you use some latex gloves to protect your hands, because yeah, that stuff burns. Especially if you've got a bit of a small cut. I don't really recommend that you use acetone. Methylated spirits is probably the best. So first of all, what we'll do is we will clean the tyre. Okay, now to do that you'll need a rag, just a simple rag, and squirt a decent amount of metho on there, and basically just wipe the bead of the tyre. You don't have to clean the entire tyre, just the bead. And when I say the bead, that's this part here, the small squarish ring, and that's what sits on the rim virtually. So just wipe it and do both sides. Actually, these are J Concepts Goosebumps, and they come in like a sealed packet, and then once you open the packet they're in another sealed bag again, so there's no worries about the tyre perishing. So isn't really any muck on the tyre, but you probably can't see it, but you can see bits of muck from where I've been wiping, so you want to clean that off. Now another thing too with your rim, a lot of your rims, they have a smooth bead. So the bead is this part here, that's what your tyre sits on. So your tyre bead and the rim bead, that's what helps the tyre hold together onto the rim. So with your bead, what I generally do, I don't really need to do it with these rims because they're a nylon style rim, so the bead is quite rough. But a lot of your rims have the smooth bead, and I get a little bit of sandpaper and just go around the bead and scuff it, and that helps to roughen up the bead for the glue to adhere to the rim. So that is something I recommend you do. Now this doesn't necessarily apply to your Xray kit. This can apply to any wheel and tyre that you get. So it doesn't matter if it's Xray, Proline, J Concepts, aka whatever. I do like to scuff the bead, but in this case I don't have to do it with this rim because it's very rough and porous. Also, if you do buy rims, make sure, I can't really, there you go, make sure you got the little hole there in the rim. What that hole does is it helps air escape from the rim, so as your car's going along, if it's bumpy like that, the air will escape. If you don't have a hole in there, there's air trapped in there, and it will be bouncing all over the place, and your car or buggy or whatever will be virtually uncontrollable. So make sure you put it, if it doesn't have holes in the rim already, put 1-2 holes to be sufficient. Okay, so now the next part is we put our foam insert into the rim, into the tyre rather. It looks like it's not going to fit, but don't forget the foam does compress. And you just move it around. I might just move that out of the way because I can see I'm going to knock that over. This is the fun part. Just work it around so you can stretch the foam out. Okay. Now also, one thing you should also take note of is, not necessarily with these tyres, these are J Concepts Goosebumps, so it doesn't really matter. Some tyres have a directional pattern on them. So for instance, okay, I have here some touring car tyres. So if we look, I've got, these are the front of the rim, so if I face them both this way, you can see that the tread pattern is facing in 2 different directions. So therefore this is a right rim here in this hand, and that's a left rim. So pay attention to what direction the tread is facing. So you'll need 2 tyres facing a certain direction on 2 rims, and obviously for the opposite rims. So pay attention for which direction your tyres face for when you mount them to the rim, because once they're glued, that's it, they're on. So take note. So now, don't be frightened to stretch the tyre a little bit. Won't kill it, won't rip it. And you just pull it on. Now, since I've been doing it that way, I'll turn it around and I'll make the bead of the tyre sit into the bead of the rim. And it's going to be it looks a little awkward at the moment. So now you get the top part, and just don't be frightened to pull on it, just to help pull the bead into place. Okay, getting there. Now it doesn't look correct at the moment, so what you might need to do is move it around a little. And now this is just a small jar of flux, but it's the perfect size for it to fit in there. You just move it around like that. You might move it upside down. Now you might need to just move the tyre around, so don't be in a hurry to get it glued on. Okay, so now the tyre is on the rim, so now we're going to glue it. So what I'll do now is we'll get our, this is Zap CA, this is the green bottle. Well, actually I've got a brand new bottle here, so for those wanting to know, that's the bottle. The price is over the top of the label, but this is Zap medium CA. So that's what this is for a green bottle. The label just fell off. Okay, so now you just get your bottle and start moving it around. Like that. Just move it around like that, let the glue run around. Then I'll place it on here and I'll push down to open up a bit of the bead. Okay, now this is where the cotton tips come in handy. Just scoops up some of the excess glue and it helps move it around as well. Okay, now we'll flip it over and we'll do the same now for the front. And now we do the same, just pull down, move the rim around to let the glue run around. Okay, so now we get our tire bands. Now if you don't have tire bands, ordinary rubber bands will be sufficient. Just make sure that they're big enough to stretch over the whole rim and tire and not too big that they don't compress the tire down. So now we will get it over. So we'll do the bottom part first. Just get it in the place. Put this part over the top there. Sometimes it feels like it'll break your fingers off. Make sure that the band is virtually in line with the face of the rim on each side. That way it's pushing down on, got full pressure around the rim. So okay, so generally what we'll do is we'll leave the tire for the glue to cure. Possibly about an hour. I like to leave it for about an hour, but since we don't have an hour, we're going to move it along. So now, say for instance, half an hour has gone past. Just check, feel the glue. Yes, it's dried. So okay, so now what we'll do is we take the bands off. Okay, now what we will do is we'll check it. So this is just a rim that I haven't used yet. So I'll put it on here and I'll push down on the side walls. Since the glue isn't pulling away, that means that the glue has fully cured and is holding the tire to the rim. So we'll flip it over. Yep, it's good on this side as well. So that, folks, is how you glue your tires together. So stay tuned for part 15, which will be for the reveal video. See you then.